Hi guys, Alice Taylor down here at Lytham Golf Academy, and today we're going to do a little head-to-head with the TAYLORMADE M2 against the new Ping G400 drivers. So both drivers, premium drivers. I've got these both set 9.5 with the hazardous 6.0 shafts. So not the lowest spinning models that these two manufacturers do, and I am going to do an M1 versus LS Tech. But there's this constant chase for kind of high launch and low spin, and I think the danger for some guys is that they don't get enough spin on the ball, and not only do they actually lose some distance but lose some accuracy. So I think both of these, well, I know M2's been the most popular with the fittings we've done out of M1 and M2, but I also suspect that the standard G400 will be the most popular. So we're going to put these side by side, 5 real balls on GC quad, see who comes out on top, see why, and see if you're in the market for a new driver, could it be either of these? Or if you've got M2 and G400 wins, will you be swapping one for the other? So with M2 being the established driver out already, we're going to go first of all with this. And as ever, I'm going to pop kind of ball speeds up. I would say normally I'm maybe 158 as my average ball speed. I'm not injured at the moment, but not moving quite my best, so I might be just marginally down on that, but let's hit some shots and kind of see how M2 performs. So it's good, feels lively off the face, and I know with both of these models they're maybe a little bit more forgiving as well, so I don't have to hit these flush out the middle to get some pretty decent performance. And I think M2 looks massive behind the golf ball, so it does kind of, if ball striking's not your strength, I think M2 is very, very appealing with the size of the footprint behind the golf ball. In theory, these are both set up probably to spin about as low as I would get either of these. And again, decent, if not the best numbers I've ever seen. But last couple, and I think, you know, TAYLORMADE make a lot about kind of hitting the ball further, and maybe not so much with this model. Ping never really scream about how far. They talk about maybe a bit more forgiveness with their drivers. Again, I think I'd take that. And one final one with the TAYLORMADE. I don't think there's much has beaten this as well in my little head-to-heads this year. So I think 5, if not spectacular, just good solid ones. So we'll switch on to G400, see how that stacks up. So I actually think when you sit them side by side though, you know, footprint wise, I think the Ping one certainly doesn't look as big, but looks maybe a bit deeper, kind of from bottom to top. But I don't know, I think it just comes down to personal preference, you know, very kind of cool finish on the TAYLORMADE. Lots of visible technology on the Ping. But we've hit 5, so now it's G400's turn. So again, I've probably got this set slightly better than I had it on my original review video. Just I didn't have shaft options and things available then. That's good, feels solid. I think a very different noise though. You know, I think the TAYLORMADE one's probably a little bit louder and maybe feels not quite as soft off the face as this one. It'll be interesting to see with the ball speeds, this one feels softer, whether that equates to any reduction in ball speed. Hopefully not, because I don't think they can afford to be giving up yardage. And certainly seems to be launching a little bit higher, even these are both set at 9.5. But again guys, you know, the loft it's set at is just simply static loft. I appreciate the weight in the heads are very different from one driver to another, so dynamically I would expect them to be a little bit different. Good high ball flight though. It seems to be going forward, certainly better than it did in the review video. But again, last couple, it'd be interesting to see if this is better than M2. Again, really, really solid. Last one, let's try and squeeze a little bit extra. If my body will allow me to squeeze any extra out of this one. And again, not bad. Okay guys, so I think I'd take any of those with either driver. So let's flick across, look at some numbers and see how M2 compares to G400. Okay, so we can see ball speed identical at 153. We've got a slightly lower launch angle with TAYLORMADE, 11.5 against 12.7, so quite a big difference considering they were set at the same. 2,300 against 2,400 spin. Would I expect that with the Ping presenting slightly more loft? Yes. On average, they reckon it's about an extra 300 revs per degree. So we're not quite seeing that, but still low enough spin. Total height 29 against 33. So the Ping hitting it slightly higher with a higher launch and higher spin. But this is the interesting thing. We've got absolutely identical average carry at 257. Right then guys, so I mean, I talk about this a lot on comparison videos. Once the clubs are set up, if not identically, because it's very hard with centre of gravity to get them set identical, but when they're set up in a similar fashion, they end up ultimately performing in a very, very similar fashion. So did I like the fact that the Ping one launched slightly higher? Yes. Did I like the fact that the TAYLORMADE one spun slightly lower? Yes. I think if I were to hit more and more balls though, I could see that kind of change around, because we are talking millimeters different strike on the face will affect both launch and spin. So for me, if they perform exactly the same on distance, what would I be looking for then? Accuracy wise, I still think accuracy comes down to me. I appreciate on the off-center ones, one might be more forgiving than the next. I thought feel wise, I probably preferred the Ping, but look wise, it's a funny one because I think because I've got M1 at the moment, I'd probably looks wise slightly lead towards M2, but I suspect if I put G400 in the bag, I'd probably get used to that. So I'm going to sit on the fence and just say, do you know what, I don't think there's a winner on this one. Comment below and let me know which one you think's the winner. But I think I could put either of those in the bag, be very, very happy. I think M2 would be the quicker fit for me because it looks more and feels more like my M1 that's currently in the bag. But I think I could get used to the Ping and I think I could hit some very, very good drives with that. And like I said, probably even the LS Tech version for me will come out even better. But we'll see when we do M1 against LS Tech, which one comes out. Hopefully M1 because that's currently in the bag. But dead heat today for G400 against M2. As ever guys, really appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos. If you've enjoyed it, like and share it. Follow me on all the social media platforms under Ali Taylor Golf. Subscribe to my channel if you don't already. Hopefully catch up with some of you guys down here in the future. Stay in contact.